Seattle, nice to see ya.
I've been living in Seattle for the past 12 years, and I was drawn to the city due to the music and the art that was coming out of Seattle at the time. I also moved here to plant my own seeds of creative energy. As time passed and the floodgates of ideas opened, I created a project to house all these ideas, and in this project came a word entitled Symbolicy. To me, Symbolicy is a concept of connecting crossbreeding ideas, concepts with art, music, film, and the celebration of the human spirit. Another element to Symbolicy is honoring, and in this case, the city of Seattle. I mean, not only has it been a place for me to rest my head for 12 years, it's also has given me shelter to grow and to create and to appreciate the city and the people that come with it. It is my hopes by doing the Doors of Symbolicy will help open up the channels of creating See Art Tell, the honoring of the people of Seattle. And as the manager of the Doors said to me, a very simple but yet effective advice is to pay it forward. To give back to the people and places that have been good to you. Speaking of the Doors manager, man, I can think of at least 8 cool things the guy has done for me in the last couple of years. After our first initial conversation, I feel the energy shifted to a level of respect. I mean, here's a guy who I'm trying to show who I am and what I'm made of and trying to gain his trust and let him know that I'm willing to work for this experience. Here's a Doors manager. I mean, he's given me opportunity to kind of prove myself. And many times I didn't feel I really followed through with what I said I was going to do, but yet he remained cool with me. I mean, here's a guy who's passed on information to share with others. He's willing to look at anything I produce, and he's really never said no to me. And he inadvertently helped me out when I inquired about Love, Death, Travel, and he said, hey, look, man, give us a year, and we'll see where we're at. Which, at that point, I didn't contact him for a year, and I didn't work on the script for a year, and I focused my energy on Seeing Through the Mystic. And by focusing on Seeing Through the Mystic, it played a huge role in the development of Doors of Symbolicy. And including with all the cool things he's done for me, he's also kept me in my place and let me know not to overstep my boundaries. And to me, that speaks volume about his character and his guidance that he's given me throughout this time. In December 2008, the manager of the Doors allowed me to attend a private party for Jim Morrison's 65th birthday at Barney's Beanery in Los Angeles. With Jim Morrison's 65th birthday coming up and the anniversary of his 40 years since his passing, I had a vision for this Doors Fest. And with a limited amount of art management experience, the manager allowed me to write a proposal for this Doors Fest. And in this Doors Fest, a lot of these ideas will be incorporated into Doors of Symbolicy. And in this ideas that I had were, a concert, kind of bands paying tribute to the Doors with mostly non-traditional songs with, non-traditional instruments and non-traditional kind of singers. And another night would be dedicated to, a night called Dance on Fire, where you get a bunch of different dancers and performers performing songs of the Doors, from burlesque to classical to, ballet, all varieties. And that kind of incorporated with the idea of musical, theatrical, of like the soft parade and doing stuff like that on stage. And so a lot of these ideas incorporating like open micers, buskers, and singers, their music would be the soundtrack to the Doors to Symbolicy. Another element to Doors Fest was to showcase the Dune documentary When You're Strange. Now fast forward months later when the DVD came out, the Doors were having viewing parties, asking fans to bring their friends and watch the DVD together. And at that point I raised my hand and said, let me do this, I want to do this, and I was granted that. Now at that time, I didn't want to just do a house. I wanted something different. So I decided I want to take this to an art house. And meanwhile, we just had a child, and we were spending like 3 months at the hospital almost every day. You know, so my mind was somewhere else at that time, but I still wanted to do this. So I didn't put a hell of a lot of effort into it as much as I'd like. And it ends up when I did do this, only 2 people showed up, and that was my neighbors. And so, needless to say, I want to redeem myself by, you know, hosting a new party with people who really want to be involved and really watch this documentary. So, but in the bright side, it ended up being a pretty good piece for the words of Jim Morrison.
The movie will begin in 5 moments, the mindless voice announced. All those unseated will await the next show. We filed slowly, languidly into the hall. The auditorium was vast and silent. As we seated and were darkened, the voice continued. The program for this evening is not new. You have seen this entertainment through and through. You've seen your birth, your life and death. You might recall all of the rest. Did you have a good world when you died? Enough to base a movie on?
I've always tried to maintain a professional relationship with the Doors manager. You know, in fact, I consider myself pleasurably persistent, where I didn't overstep my boundaries, try to be very respectful of the process. And I do feel throughout time, there's only been one major situation that kind of salted me up with progression with the manager and progression of the script. And that is the story of the bridesmaid. I feel if you're going to tell a story A through Z, you can't leave out JK, LMNO. You know, with positives sometimes comes negative. And I don't want to put too much tension on this, but I do feel that it's very important to the development of the script and to the development where this project is going right now. You know, I'm not here to badmouth anyone because A, it's like that person's not here to defend themselves, and B, that's just not my thing to do. And as the manager put it, is, you know, take the high road always, especially in this situation. So I will tell the story via characters. Story of the bridesmaid. I play the bride, and the subject I'm referring to is the bridesmaid, and the groom is the elements of, you know, the Doors themselves, the Doors management, her little fantasy world, you know, all combined in one combo. So after 20 years of love, respect, and honoring, the bride and the groom decide to get married. And as the bride, I asked a friend to be the bridesmaid, the wedding planner, to kind of overlook my plan and let me know what she thinks. And she says, "Oh, you know, thank you so much for this opportunity. You know, anything to help you out as a friend, you know," and everything was going good. And then one day she meets the groom. Now, she's never even met the groom before, but she meets him and have these long conversations. And these conversations go from days to weeks to months. And she realizes, wow, I'm falling in love with the groom. You know, he's got connections, he's got potential to bring me my goals, my dreams, to be on magazines and film and, you know, all that. And to me, that's not what it's about. It's about honoring, you know, that love. But she starts to see it in her own way. And I get wind of this, and I realize I gotta put an end to this. And I said, hey, you know, you're no longer the bridesmaid, this isn't gonna work out. Groom, I'm taking time off to work on myself for about a year. And basically, needless to say, that drove the bridesmaid a little crazy, you know what I mean? And so she was pissed, and so she would attend places where the groom was going to be, and she was still trying to make her mark and let her know that she was still going to be this bridesmaid. And so after a year of working on myself, and I get her contacting me to let me know that, hey, look, things went down, didn't work out, you know, the way we thought it would be. Let's try to patch things up. And I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I've been burned by her before. So I thought, all right, I see, let's just try to make this thing happen. And again, everything was going good. We were rebuilding, and things were, you know, working all right. And then, of course, that switch happened where there she goes. She turns her back on me and starts doing this same kind of stuff that she does. And basically, the groom said, hey, look, I'm sick of this. It's getting played out. You know, regardless of our connection to the, you know, bride, you know, the bridesmaid now involved, and I'm not going to get married This is never going to happen unless you two patch things up and make it happen. And I realized if that's the only solution, then, you know what, I'm done. I'm done with this. I want nothing to do with this. She's actually, you know, kind of a Cancer to this project. And I say that because her astrological sign is Cancer. And I wanted to go back to the roots of honoring him, you know, and doing it ourselves and making this thing happen and getting people involved that actually want to make this thing happen, not for the fame and fortune, but do it for the honoring of the musicians and the creators, you know. So basically that's the story of The Bridesmaid.
Always a bridesmaid.
Bridesmaid.
Always a bridesmaid.
The only solution. Isn't it amazing?
Always a bridesmaid.
My biggest regret of this project is giving The Bridesmaid an opportunity to be a part of this project. Now, you give someone an opportunity to do something good, and it backfires on you for their own personal agenda.
You inject it in the bloodstream of reality, and a lot of strange beasts are created.
You're absolutely right about that. I'm just looking for a positive way to pay homage without her antics and her involvement.
The only way you could do it would be decide not to play all the games.
Man, you're absolutely right, and that's why I'm not giving up, and that's why I'm going back to the artistic grassroots style of paying homage and working for this opportunity.
That's good.
Cool, man. So, how do you feel about the new revamped script and the new ideas and concepts for the story?
I think it's going to be great.
The ultimate goal of the project is to showcase the trailers, the short stories, and other concepts to the manager of the Doors in hopes to take this script and make it into a reality. And, you know, if anything comes out of it, at least I made a resume for myself. I completed something and I did something to pay homage to Jim Morrison and the Doors, to open up the doors to new possibilities of creative energy.